Welcome to the deep dive. We're looking at Tupac Shakur today. Based on the material you sent, it shows this real contradiction, doesn't it? Amazing talent, but also deep in that street life.
Yeah, it's striking. The sources paint a picture of someone incredibly gifted, but also caught up in, well, a lot of danger. Our mission is sort of understanding that split.
Exactly. How do those two worlds coexist, and ultimately, why the tragic end? We're digging into the excerpts you shared to figure that out.
Okay. Where should we start? His background, maybe?
Good idea. The texts mention his family's Black Panther ties pretty strongly. That exposure, so young.
Right. You can see how that would shape his worldview. Dealing with social issues, injustice. It seems baked in from the start, according to these sources.
And that foundation probably fueled his art, wouldn't you say?
I think the sources strongly suggest that, yeah. The themes in his music, racism, poverty, the stuff happening in urban communities, it came from somewhere real.
And his talent was just, wow. The excerpts remind us he wasn't just a rapper, poet, actor, really multifaceted.
Absolutely. A powerful poet, a really compelling actor, too. The sources highlight that range. It's like he had all these different ways to express himself.
And he used them to talk about those heavy themes with such, I don't know, eloquence. It felt raw.
Totally raw. Because it seemed authentic, stemming from experience, which is maybe why it resonated so much.
But then the materials point to this shift. The thug life idea. It started as art, maybe, but became more.
That seems to be the turning point described. Moving from expressing that reality to perhaps embodying it. It wasn't just a persona anymore.
Really critical and kind of dangerous decision, it seems.
It definitely raises questions about, like, art versus reality, how those lines blurred for him based on what we've read here.
And that path, the sources suggest, led straight to Death Row Records. Suge Knight.
Yeah, and that came with serious baggage, gang affiliations, intense rivalries. The texts are clear on that connection.
It wasn't just music anymore. It was a whole volatile scene.
Right. Death row was a specific kind of environment at that time, and the materials show Tupac stepping right into the middle of it.
Which ties into the whole East Coast-West Coast rivalry mentioned in the deep dive materials.
Yeah, that escalated badly, more than just words and songs.
And the excerpts indicate Tupac played a real role in that escalation, didn't he? Especially the stuff involving Biggie Smalls.
The sources don't pull punches there. His words, his actions, they definitely fan the flames. It shows how quickly that stuff can spiral, right?
Yeah. And on top of all that, the texts list his legal problems piling up. Weapons charges, assault.
The sexual abuse conviction.
Yeah.
It paints a picture of increasing conflict, legally and probably personally.
Each one must have just added more pressure, more complexity.
You'd have to assume so based on the information.
Right.
Blurring those lines even further, maybe, between the public image and his private reality.
And then it all culminates in Las Vegas, September 7th, 1996, after the Tyson fight.
The drive-by shooting, just awful. And dying 6 days later, he was only 25. Such a waste. And the irony, which the sources point out, is just heartbreaking.
Totally. His music, like Changes or Dear Mama, showed he understood the cycle of violence. He critiqued it. He even talked about wanting healing.
He saw the problem, articulated it better than almost anyone, but still got caught in it himself.
Exactly. It's deeply tragic.
It makes you think, what if? The texts sort of hint at it. What if he'd just focused on the art? Stepped away from the conflicts?
Could he have been an even bigger voice? Maybe a leader, culturally or even politically? It's impossible to know, but the potential was obviously immense.
That unrealized potential is the core of the tragedy, isn't it? Silencing that voice so young.
Left such a huge gap. An incomplete legacy, in a way.
So wrapping up our look at these materials, it really boils down to that collision, right? Incredible artistic promise hitting head-on with the destructive side of street life.
A powerful voice lost way too soon. And we're left wondering what else he could have achieved. Definitely. And maybe the thought to leave listeners with is, well, what are the forces in society that can pull someone with so much talent down that kind of path? What can we learn from his really complex story?